my Lord of the Manor, my steward, ladies and gentlemen. It was with great honour, pride and dignity that I accepted the post of Dusner of Boar Street at St George's Court in April. However, I do beg your patience in the fulfilment of my duties, as this has given me little more than a calendar month to pursue and facilitate my duties. The watchword I have adopted is diligence. To achieve this, I have inspected the properties in the street. We have 5 vacant properties, but I have made use of these properties for covert operations, observing my force at work. Alas, the existing force of men have been found wanting. There's nothing worse than a man who's wanting. I have to tell you that they have had their day. They are ex-men-at-arms. They are yesterday's men of no further use. 2 things will not be tolerated. Item, failure to attend the watch. Item, gossiping. Item 3 things will not be tolerated. Failure to attend the watch, gossiping, inability to handle your own halberd, and 4 things will not be tolerated. Failure to attend the watch, gossiping, inability to handle your own halberd, and not knowing a baldric when you see one. As you know, the city jail cells are in the Guildhall in Boar Street, and I will have no compunction in stocking these cells with any free men of the city who are not able to handle himself. In times of need, you understand. Admittedly, the cells are short of shackles, manacles and handcuffs, but I am in negotiation with one of the emporia in Boar Street, namely Wilkinson's, who, though not stocking restraining devices, can offer plant ties of varying thicknesses and strength. These come recommended in 50 shades of grey. My research into the inventories of the cells have revealed that at 4:45, that's 16:45, there were 4 neck collars, 4 pairs of bolts, 5 pairs of shackles, 1 chain, 1 clog, and 1 chair. Obviously, for what I have in mind for punishment, these meagre provisions will prove insufficient. Wilkinson's, a local shop for local people, will provide what we need. As you are aware, I am sword bearer and town crier of the city, and wear the high-vis outfit of the 19th century, a red double-breasted topcoat. It's little wonder that I have had to resort to covert observational duties. A certain age of woman cannot resist a man in uniform. Especially when an Adonis-like figure like myself is contained within. But with me, I have to tell you, they're wasting their time. I am pleased to reveal today, for the first time, the 5 secrets of a great relationship. 1. It's important to find a woman who works around the house and never complains. 2. It's important to find a woman who loves cooking. 3. It's important to find a woman who can make you laugh. 4. Inevitably, it is important to find a woman who is satisfactory in the bedroom. And 5. It's vitally important that these 4 women never meet. But I digress. New men for the force are hard to recruit. So I've been out on Boar Street and found the following. Their names have been changed to conceal their true identity. Kevin recently lost his wife, and having given him advice earlier, I asked whether he had actually taken her to Lord's. Kevin replied that he had, but he was quick to point out that his wife had sadly died within minutes of arriving there. Tragic, I said. Was it her heart? No, she was hit on the head by the cricket ball. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin was my first recruit. Then I met Seth, a swarthy agricultural rustic. Sadly, Seth had marital problems, so I recommended a visit to the therapist for him. I called at the rear of the property some weeks later and found him naked, gyrating round a greased pole in the headlights of his Massey Ferguson. I was disappointed in Seth, but as dozener to Boar Street, I gave him an opportunity to explain himself. He replied, I'm following the therapist's advice. He reckoned I should do something sexy to attract her. Ladies and gentlemen, Seth is now one of my men. With Seth and Kevin on board, our search continued. Not every man satisfied our needs. Age, I have to point out, is not a problem. Originally, our target group, as the steward pointed out, was 15 to 16 years of age. However, Ezekiel came forward, living above the failed emporium known as Venture. It was indeed a failed venture. Recently celebrating his 100th birthday, but died on the same day. Unfortunately, Ezekiel passed away when we were only halfway through giving him the box. Each and every premise along Boar Street has been inspected. George IV proved an unlikely recruitment centre. I sat next to Benjamin one night, watching television on the giant screen. Benjamin sat there with his dog. The dog was enthralled in the movie channel. He wagged his tail when the hero appeared. He growled viciously when the villain appeared. Boy, I said to Benjamin, some dog you have there. He's very clever. Must be worth a fortune. Yes, replied Benjamin. No one's more surprised than me. He absolutely hated the book. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben was my third recruit. But for every success, there has to be a failure. Wilkinson's had a wooden bench on offer outside. Gwendolen, a lady of senior years, was resting as I approached her. She looked a candidate. She was the right calibre, especially for Boar Street. But as I got nearer to her, she was clearly upset. Her story haunts me to this day. Gwendolen, a senior citizen, had acquired a 25-year-old husband. He made love to her every morning. Then he got up, made a full breakfast, accompanied with cereals and freshly ground coffee. At lunch, he made soup, a Mediterranean salad, cakes, and made love to her in the afternoon. For dinner, he made a gourmet meal from simple ingredients, a dessert of her choice, and then made love until the early hours of the morning. Given this lifestyle, I could not understand Gwendolen's unhappiness. Then she confessed, I can't remember where I live. Sadly, ladies and gentlemen, her application was turned down. I needed 4 more men to complete my force. And as luck was had it, I met an Irishman, a Scotsman, and an Englishman. Patrick had married and told his wife to do all the dishes and housework. Admittedly, it took her a couple of days to get used to it, but by the 3rd day, the house was spotless and everything was put away correctly. Jock, the Scot, was also recently married. He expected the same. First day, he saw little improvement. Second day, he saw better results. But by day 3, everything was hunky-dory, as the Scots say. George, the Englishman, also expected a clean house. Wash dishes, laundry, ironing twice a week, lawns mowed, windows cleaned, meals on the table. Unfortunately, on the first day, he didn't see anything. On the second day, he didn't see anything. But on the 3rd day, the swelling on his eyes had gone down enough. He could see a little out of the left eye, just enough to manage to make a bite to eat, load the dishwasher, and make a start in the garden. And finally, the last man for the troop turned up. I'm not sure whether you're aware, but I was a teacher for many years. And I don't know whether you can recall the register, called every morning and every afternoon. Surnames first, first name second. So I was always on the register. Knowles, Kenneth. Durrant, Kate. Orty, Robert. And believe it or not, I once taught a young boy called Kevin Daft. And Daft Kevin had his name called out every morning. So my final man. You know him. He's served us in the past, but he's only just moved on to Bow Street. That man, young Peter. Recently moved his whole itinerant workforce into Bow Street, into the premises known as Donegal House. Young Peter, you will recall, excelled himself with frying pan and pancake at the Shrovetide Fair. He possesses all the qualities our force requires. Ladies and gentlemen, I, Kenneth John Knowles, Dozener of Bow Street, present this roll of able men capable of bearing arms in my ward. I have inspected the accoutrements of these men and beg to report that all is in order.
Thank you, Mr. Dozener Knowles, for that interesting, informative and very comprehensive report.